What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your one-stop spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. And on today's episode, we, of course, will be previewing the Bulls game against the Orlando Magic. I also will be giving mid-season grades out to certain players, to the roster so far, just saying how they've played so far in the season. We'll do all that and some more, and fuck Grayson Allen right after this. All right, what's going on, Bulls fans? So, first up, we do have a game against Orlando Magic tonight coming up. And so, what do we need from a game against Orlando Magic? I think it's pretty clear. We need Ayo and Kobe first to bounce back, right? We need them to get back to playing how they were. We can't have another cold shooting out like that. Like, the only reason that was not a blowout for us is because Milwaukee was also shooting very, very badly, just as bad as us. Now, on the flip side of that, we can easily say the only reason the Bulls did not win that game is because we weren't shooting better as well. All in all, everything being said and being equal, I like the way that the Bulls played, and because they shot equally, I really do think, again, they were only missing Brook Lopez. So you got to think full rosters, like I've been saying, and people have been always questioning who's going to guard Giannis, XYZ. I really do have faith in the Bulls' ability to play against the Bucks in the playoffs or the rest of the season with a full and healthy roster. Now, we know we had another big injury in that game, and it sucks, but fuck Grayson Allen. And I mean that wholeheartedly, but we have to just continue it. Next man up mentality. Javonte Green and Zach LaVine have both been moved to doubtful from being no chance of playing today against the Magic. Now, I still don't expect them to play, but both of them being moved into the doubtful position does at least give me some hope that they will be back sooner rather than later in both of them. I know we've known for a while that Zach LaVine was prepared to come back Wednesday against Cleveland. It's good to see that Javonte Green's been upgraded as well, and we hope to get him back as soon as possible because we definitely need him. But to get back into this game tonight against Orlando Magic, Kobe, Ayo are going to have to get back to playing solidly on both sides of the ball. Defense wasn't an issue really last game, but we need them shooting well because we need their offense in many, many ways. It's just going to be interesting to see how this rotation completely figures out now that we won't have Caruso. Our guard depth is really lacking right now, a position of depth for us, but I still trust the Bulls to be able to overcome it, especially against the Orlando Magic. Maybe I'm being overconfident about that, but that remains to be seen, and we'll see what happens with that. We need a solid game from Vooch on both sides of the ball. As we always know, these are things that are common every single game we need from us, right? DeMar, you almost trust always DeMar to do DeMar things, but we definitely need DeMar. We need the bench to keep up the defensive intensity, even with Caruso not being in the game. We know what Caruso means to this team's defense. We know what he brings energy-wise and how he helps the other team focus, but they're going to have to find a way, this team, to maintain that brand of defense even when Alex Caruso is not in the game. Yes, we are a man down as far as defensively and a versatile defender at that. I'm not talking about our ability to guard everyone as well as when we have Alex Caruso in there, but I mean that energy, that activity on defense, we need that. That is a very big part of our success, is when we can be active on defense, and we're going to need that from this team in the starting lineup and in the bench tonight. Players are going to have to earn their minutes today. It is what it is. Troy Brown Jr., who's come along, we'll talk about him in my midseason grades. We need solid defense from him. We need good Tony Bradley as much as we can. Now, we know he didn't play any in last game, and that makes sense. But we need to see that. And one thing that I will be looking out for this, and this is not just because I'm a fan of him, Tyler Cook showed us some very impressive things in that last game. I want to see continued growth from Tyler Cook because Tyler Cook can really help our size problem a lot, right? And we know he's not the best defender. We know he's not even the defender like a Javonte Green is or anything like that. But to be able to have a player that's not playing out of position at the four, that's able to give size, activity, dunk the ball, right? Those are the things that we've missed, and we really haven't had a player to do things just like that since Daniel Gafford's been here. Again, not comparing Tyler Cook to Daniel Gafford in any way. I want to make that clear, but I think that activity and some of that skill set overlaps. He's not the same type of player or the quality of player, at least not that we've seen so far, but I want to see continued growth from Tyler Cook. Does he get the start tonight? If he does he able to stay out of foul trouble and keep his ass on the court like we need him to be, especially because he's one of the few players that gives us size without really giving up much on the offensive end. You can trust him to do certain things offensively and to play with activity, and I want to see that from Tyler Cook as well. Tony Bradley, he's back, probably going to be getting minutes in this game. We need to see Tony Bradley be active, play smart, eliminate those butterfingers, which is a tall order for him, but we need to see those things as we still prepare to get players back and for players to get back healthy. We're going to be without, even though it looks like we're getting Zach LaVine and Javonte Green, their returns are on the horizon, we're still going to be a long time without Derrick Jones Jr. We're going to be a long time without Lonzo. We're going to be a long time without Alex Caruso, and who knows what's going on with Patrick Williams. Those are 4 players that are key for us that we're going to be without for the majority of the rest of the season, really, when you look at it, especially Alex Caruso. If he's out that full 8-week period, right, and it says he'll be reevaluated in 6 to 8 weeks. If he's out that full 8-week period, he's going to come back with 10 games left in the season. Lonzo's not much better than that because he went out with that surgery only a couple of days before Alex Caruso. So that means we're not going to have those players for the majority of the season now. Derrick Jones Jr. He's going to come back before then, right? Javonte Green is on the potential of coming back soon, but we need to get back healthy. We need to get our players back. And we're not going to have our perfect version of health at least into the playoffs, and even then, it remains to be seen. But we need to see activity from this team tonight on both ends of the floor. Now, one thing that I'm going to be going over in this thing we're going to get into next is midseason grades. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to break these up in categories, right? Rather than go player by player, I'm going to break it up in categories. I know, and I expect some of you guys to disagree with me, and that's fine. So A's, I'm giving my A's for midseason grades out to DeMar, LaVine, Caruso, Ayo, and Javonte Green. They get A's from me. DeMar, it's clear. LaVine, it's clear. Anything you can say about DeMar, you can basically say about LaVine. They have very similar efficiency numbers, and I think LaVine is actually more efficient than DeMar DeRozan, but their numbers are very, very similar. Alex Caruso, for nothing else, we know the energy, and seeing how he changed this team when he came back. I think you have to give Alex Caruso A. He's been everything he was advertised to be on defense. And let me also preface this: my grades are my grades, right? I expect everyone to have different grades. I look at my grades based on a few different things, few different factors. What I expected from the player coming into the season, how they lived up to my own personal expectations, right? Because this is a personal list. Again, this is not objective. This is my personal list. So objectivity is not a thing here. This is just my personal list. And also their overall performance. So again, DeMar, LaVine, Caruso easily get A's for me. Ayo, I fluctuated between giving an Ayo a B or an A, but really looking into it and going back and listening to my own preseason evaluation of him, I did not expect him to get very many minutes. And I said, and somebody quoted me on this, I said, if he plays, something's either gone really, really bad for the team or really, really amazing for the team. And it's the latter half of that. So because of that, because of my personal expectations for him this season, just because of our guard depth, I didn't expect, if he did get minutes, to be very many. And I really expected him to spend a stint in the G League. He avoided that in the preseason. He earned his minutes. And we just see continued growth in the way that he processes and plays basketball and that basketball IQ. He gets an A for me for sure. Next one, Javonte Green. And some people may question, why is Javonte Green on this A, on the categories of getting an A? He gets an A for me. A from his effort, playing out of position, being a 6'4" power forward that's been playing for us. And, yes, he gives up length, and there's certain issues that we run into just for size, but his heart, determination, none of that's ever questioned. Yes, I would like him to hit shots a little bit better than what he does sometimes, and sometimes he absolutely has games where he hits every open shot that he gets by the nature of this offense. But just looking at Javonte Green and the totality of it, playing out of position, a player that we got in a deal, and no one really expected Javonte Green to be the one that stuck around after that deal, or to be the one that really makes an impact. And he's came and he showed up, and he's outlived every expectation that I had for him coming into the season. My B, there are 2 players on my Bs, right? And this one may get some people pissed off, especially Lonzo Ball stands. Kobe gets a B for me easily. Considering all the talk around him from Bulls fans at the beginning of the season, he's not going to fit on this team, wondering how he was going to develop. Not only did he come in, and last game out in his first couple of games when he was coming back from injury, Kobe's been everything that we've needed him to be as a player off the bench. He's starting right now, but he's been everything that we needed to have from a player off the bench. every single thing. And his defense is improved. That weak side defense is so improved from him playing in the passing lanes, getting turnovers, getting blocks sometimes, and just being a more aware defender. He easily gets a B. If I had to like rank the B, it'll probably be just a straightforward B, not a B minus or a B plus. But Kobe White absolutely gets a B from me for everything, and I think it's well deserved. Lonzo Ball gets a B minus and almost a C for me. And this is why. And some of this I want to say up front, because I know Lonzo Ball stands are going to hear that and go the fuck off. The reason why I almost gave Lonzo a C, some of that isn't his fault, right? It's the way that the coaching staff is using him. I acknowledge that, right? I acknowledge that it's not all on Lonzo, why he just floats around on the outside of the perimeter. But why he's getting a B for me is even when he does get into the mid-range he makes awkward passes. In the beginning of the season, those were turnovers. And I want to see Lonzo be more confident in getting to the rim. And we'll see if that happens over the course of the season once he does come back and in the preseason. But I really do feel like, again, this is my personal list, and part of that is my personal expectations. I haven't seen Lonzo Ball unleash yet. Now, we did have stretches of that when DeMar and Levine were both out in health and safety protocol, and that almost solidified him getting a B for me, only because I need to see that version of Lonzo more. And again, I am admitting and I am stating here that a lot of this is not Lonzo's fault. This is the way that the coaching staff is using him. They need to unleash Lonzo more. But because of that, just being honest and fair, I had to give Lonzo a B. Let's move on to my C's. Derrick Jones Jr. is a C for me. And again, a lot of this is just, if I had to put it, it's a C plus, almost a B minus. And him playing out of position, the fact that Derrick Jones Jr. was playing center, backup center for us at certain points in time, and did a solid job at it. You know, an argument could be made that he should be in the B range. I'm giving him a C for me personally because my expectations were high. And again, personal list, some of my expectations are my own fault, right? I admit that, but I'm giving Derrick Jones Jr. a C. Again, with him, I would like to see more assertiveness from him at times. I would like to see more consistency from shooting. His PR is solid, right? So he could have easily moved into a B minus, but I'm giving him a C plus just to nail it in. My next player in the C range is Nikola Vucevic, and a big part of this is because of how cold he was for the opening of this season, and we haven't seen in some of the bigger games where we needed him at. Vooch has not done what we needed from him. Now, again, the great version of Vooch, when we do get great Vooch, it's amazing, right? He could have easily been a B plus, A minus range if that was more sustained and consistent. But again, my personal expectations are a lot of what color this is. I had high expectations for Vooch this season, and he's been, let me be clear. I've said this. Vooch ranks in just about the top 10 and top 15 in every statistical category for amongst centers. So he's been good, right? It's just, again, a little bit, this is hurt by how bad he was to start the season. Now, again, my in-season grade, he could easily be in that B range and possibly the A range. We can see a huge jump from him with more consistent play, and we're going to need it with the upcoming games. And we'll see with lesser competition if Vooch can get back on track. But Vooch right now sits at a C for me. Next up, my D's. Troy Brown Jr. gets a D for me. Even though he's come on more lately, I want to see more consistency in that, right? He can easily move into a C as well, but he gets a D for me. Tony Bradley almost got an F, but he gets a D for me as well, because in games where Tony Bradley has shown up defensively, it's really been key for us. And he's had some games that he's played a key role for us. And that's the only thing that saved him from being in the F range. The only thing that saved him being in the F range. Same thing for the next player, Matt Thomas. Matt Thomas is a D for me and could have easily been an F, but we've seen Matt Thomas hit shots when we needed them to. I would like to see more consistent. Sometimes he gets cooked on defense. There's just things that he does every game defensively that I'm just like, man, I did not expect this from a veteran. One thing that I did expect from Matt Thomas coming into the season is that when he was called on to be able to play solid D, shoot the ball well, and at times he hasn't done neither well. So he gets a D from me. The one F that I'm giving is Alfonso McKinney. He's fucking horrible. Alfonso McKinney, lowest PER on the team by far, lowest per 100 possessions by far on this team. He's fucking terrible. Alfonso McKinney is the only F on here because he needs to get the fuck out. That's the F for Alfonso McKinney. Incomplete grades that I'm handing out. P. Will, obviously, we only got to see very short time from P. Will, and in that time, he was still coming back from injury. Marko Simonovic, we already know what's going on with Marco. And Malcolm Hill. Malcolm Hill, I'm giving it incomplete to just because I haven't seen enough of Malcolm Hill for me to feel comfortable to put a grade on him. So that's my grade so far. I don't think I missed anyone. If I did miss anyone, you guys will let me know in the comments. That's my grade so far on the Bulls season. The last topic for today, the NBA is reviewing and looking into the Grayson Allen foul. I don't know what it is to look into. I mean, everybody's seen the damn replay at this point in time. Something needs to happen, and the fact that the NBA is reviewing it, I don't expect anything to happen. Now, maybe I post this video and then something like what happens with me sometimes. I post a video, an hour later, news comes out. So we'll see what happens with Grayson Allen and the NBA reviewing this call. But I wanted to end it on this because fuck Grayson Allen, and this has been another episode of Chicago Bulls Central. Make sure you're following the podcast at Bulls Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullscentralpod@gmail.com. If you want to leave a text or voicemail, you can do so at 773-270-2799. Like I like to end every video on, every episode on. Go Bulls. I love you guys. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.